is Alan Ball.
Hi, this is Audrey Fisher.
This is Jim Perry.
Hi, this is Kristen Bauer.
Hi, this is Alexander Skarsgård.
This is Nelson Ellis.
Hi, this is Johnny Neal.
This is Ryan Tucker.
Hi, this is Lindsay Fulton.
Hi, this is Ryan Quantum from True-Blood. Hello, this is Theo Alexander.
Hey, this is Lauren Bowles.
Hi, this is David Tishman. This is Chase Everett.
Hello, this is Janina Gavankar.
This is James Frame.
Hi, this is Courtney Ford, and you're listening to True Blood Radio.
Hi, Liz and Mel here with True-Blood.net with this week's discussion of the penultimate episode just before the series finale. This one was titled Love is to Die. We'll be sharing our thoughts and our musings and our ideas and there's no speculations left. Maybe a few.
Yeah, we've got a few for the finale.
Just a couple, but
yeah.
And speaking of the finale, we'll talk about that in spoilers later. So if you don't want to, be spoiled on the finale, we'll let you know. This is podcast number 230. Can you believe it? 230 for the week of August 17th, 2014.
We're going to start out with a few news hits for you this time. We posted a poll right after the episode ended last night, titled with the question, who will Sookie end up with? And it's freshly posted, but we've already got, a couple hundred votes. And the options that we gave you were Bill, Eric, Sam, no one, or other, and then post your comment saying who you think it would be below. And as of right now, again, this is less than 24 hours after we launched the poll, but right now, no one is in the lead with a commanding 38%. Oh, no one!
I know, that's who I voted for.
That's who I vote for. I don't see her at this point, given what we know, I don't see her ending up with anybody that we already know. Mm-hmm. And most likely, it seems unlikely that they will introduce us to somebody and get her married or, partnered off with them in the hour that we have remaining. So,
right.
No one is followed by Eric with, no one has 38% of the vote. Eric has 33% of the vote. Bill has 22%. Other has 3%. And poor Sam has 3% as well. So, he seems to be pretty well settled with his new life. So that doesn't surprise me that people are going with that.
Mm-hmm.
So, so if you get a chance, hop on over to True-Blood.net and vote in the poll yourself. Let us know what you think. As always, in the comment section, keep it civilized. That's our rule. We've been putting people on moderation and deleting comments recently because these are mostly new-ish people who aren't aware that this isn't a free-for-all, that this is a benevolent dictatorship, as we like to say. Mm-hmm. And we've had some pushback on that, but you know what? You haven't run the site for the last 6.5 years, and we have the right to determine what's going to be allowed on our site. So keep it civilized, but definitely get in there and discuss what you think is going to happen for Sookie as we wind down to the very end.
Yes. Well, speaking of winding down to the very end, cast members have already signed on to other projects, having done their final party and get together with everybody, and they're all kind of moving on now. And we're going to keep track of the cast and all their projects, what they're working on, both in film and television, theater, reading books, whatever they want to do. We're going to keep track of that. In fact, I think I didn't post it yet, but I saw a blurb, I think earlier today, that Ryan Quantum was supposedly doing a voiceover for an animated something coming up. But let me look into that, and we'll get it posted on the site so that you guys can stay informed. But as it stands right now, we've got Lauren Bowles, who has just signed on to do the new series, the new CW series, The Messengers. I believe that's going to be starting this fall, or is that a mid-season?
It's a mid-season show. Yeah, okay. It's a mid-season show. It sounds really interesting, though.
Yeah, it does. I'm kind of curious about that, so we'll see. But I like that Lauren's going to be on something else. We love her. Nelson Ellis has been so busy His film Get On Up, which is really the story of
James Brown.
James Brown, right? Get On Up.
Mm-hmm.
And he plays James Brown's best friend. So his movie is out right now. And we're getting some feedback. Some people have gone to see it and said it's really phenomenal. So get a chance to go out and see that. He's also been tapped to be in a jazz biopic called Bolden. And we'll keep our eyes on that. And, as the situation develops, and let you know when that's going to come out. Chris Bauer is taking the stage in Race on August 31st through I can't talk, through September 28th at the Kirk Douglas Theater in LA. So congratulations, Chris. Alan Ball joins Sir Elton John for a new HBO pilot, currently titled Virtuoso, but that could change. Mm-hmm. And of course, Alexander Skarsgård's The Giver is also in theaters right now. So,
and he's filming Tarzan.
And he's filming Tarzan. So be on the lookout for that. As soon as we know when that's going to open, we'll put that up on our site.
I think we do already. Didn't they announce already?
I think so,
June 2016. It's summer 2016.
Yeah,
May, maybe?
May, I think. I thought it was like May 26th or something. I don't know.
They released an exact date, but of course this far out, it's hard to, that could change. But yeah, it's summer 2016 is when that's coming.
Okay, right. Mm-hmm. And then last but not least, Rutina Wesley teams up with Michael Ealy, yum, and Morris Chestnut, yum, yum.
Yum.
And Sine, is that how you say her name? Sine?
I don't know. I've never heard it actually pronounced. I've seen it in print, but I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. But they're filming The Perfect Guy, and Rutina plays the best friend to Sine, who is the lead female character. So she has a pretty large role in this movie. It's a thriller. Michael Ealy plays a psychotic stalker. And Sine.
But how can he with those eyes?
He's
not a psycho.
So beautiful. He's so beautiful. I've loved him since Barbershop. Anyway, but Sine, and I'm sorry if I'm pronouncing that wrong. Somebody correct me. She is, in her role, her character will actually turn the tables on Michael Ealy and start stalking the stalker. And so, I don't know, should be good. Psychological thriller, it's right up my alley. I like that kind of stuff.
Yeah, looking forward to seeing Rutina on the big screen again, too. Yeah. So that'll be cool.
Just be on the lookout, you guys. True Blood has launched quite a mini career, and our core cast of characters no less. So seriously, they're going to be busy.
Yeah, I think we're gonna end up doing like a special tag or category or something, so that you guys can, or maybe have a page of current projects. I don't know. I'm still kind of developing how we're going to keep track of everybody, because this is a big cast and their latest projects. But we'll try to keep you as up to date as we possibly can on what they're doing post True Blood, because we know they're going to be busy.
Yeah. And by the way, Stephen Moyer is still unemployed.
Yeah. And Anna Paquin, they're on vacation with family in New Zealand right now. So they are happily unemployed for the moment.
Right now.
Yes. Yeah. So, well, we had a big surprise here at True-Blood.net HQ Kansas branch this week. I got home from being out, and there was a big box on my doorstep from HBO. And I couldn't remember having ordered anything. I was like, I was racking my brain. Oh my gosh, should I pre-order something? And it finally showed up. But no. And then I saw that the return address was actually for from the actual production office, not the HBO shop. So I opened it up, and I've shared these on the site and on Facebook, but I wanted to do it again on the podcast because they're very cool, and then we have a chance to really talk about all of it. So it was a box of props from the set of Fantasia. The actual items used on the show, they sent us 4 different things. So the first item is this Fantasia flyer that they have in the bar that people can, grab as a souvenir or hand out to friends or something like that. So it's got an old picture of Nosferatu on it from his shadow from the vintage vampire movie. So there's that. And there's a very small Fantasia t-shirt that, this is the same one you can buy in the HBO shop, but this was actually used on set. You can see that the tag has been clipped out. That's what they do when they're using a garment on set. And there's also, I don't know if you can see these two little, they look like fang holes. I don't think you can see these. There's two little holes right here, which is where the card telling who it was for would have been pinned right there. I think this is something that Sookie wore, would be my guess. Because I can't remember anybody else wearing this shirt that would have been that small. And ironically, it looked huge on her, and it's tiny. So there's that. And then this is very cool. This is a framed photo of another vintage vampire photo that hangs in, or used to hang in Eric's office. You can see that it's labeled on the back. The prop master, set decorator, had it labeled so that they knew where it belonged. So this is, it's heavy. It's really heavy. So I'm going to go ahead and set that down. But that was from Eric's office. Oh, wait. Before I do, can you see that there's dust on there? That's dust from Eric's office, you guys. So that is actually going to Liz for her collection. And then the pièce de résistance, if I can get it up here, is, and you may have seen this in this week's episode, hanging over Eric's throne. It's the big light that hangs over Eric's throne in Fantasia. And it is still wired. Put it upside down so you guys can kind of see that the light bulb socket, the light socket's still there and the wires are still there and everything. So it can be hung up again and used. So this is very cool. It's metal. This silver part is a metal that's been cut out into the different. It's like a Day of the Dead mask, I think, is what it's modeled after. And then this red stuff is a gel, and it's backed with parchment paper in the back, so you can see. That's how they constructed that. And the top is duct tape, because duct tape solves every problem. So that was built by the True Blood crew to use on the set, and that will be going to the lovely Minda to go on her wall as a thank you for her years of helping us with the podcast and other duties, going to Comic-Con and taking all the gorgeous photos for us and all that. So that is going to find a home on Minda's wall in North Carolina. So, yeah.
Cool.
Thank you, HBO.
Right.
That was just, it was such a huge surprise. It was so fun opening that up and seeing what kind of goodies we got. So
Christmas came early.
Yeah. Be spreading the love with those. I'm not sure, as of right now, I will be in possession of the Fantasia flyer and the t-shirt. I don't know. I'm not a person that really collects memorabilia, like items. So, I don't know. We might do something with those later, but on the site. But for now, they will stay at my house. And the picture will go to Liz, and the light will go to Minda. So, anyway, thank you,
Yay.
HBO. That was lovely. Very sweet.
Unexpected and wonderful.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. All right. Well, so that's our news hit for this week. And I guess we can start talking about the next to last episode of all time ever.
Yes.
Of True Blood.
Love is
Penultimate.
to die.
Mm-hmm. Which, a note about that, the title of the episode, of course, it's a song title that was used at the end. The song is by Warpaint. They're an LA-based band, and I loved it. I thought it was beautiful, beautiful.
Yeah.
So
it was haunting.
It was haunting, and of course that's linked up on our the season 7 music page with links where you can download the song as well. So, Love Is to Die.
Yes. Note to self, listen to their other stuff because they got my interest piqued.
Mm-hmm.
So,
yeah, good stuff.
Well, the episode picks up right where it left off last week with Bill dropping the bomb on everybody, saying he will not take the cure from Sarah Newland. And Sookie let him have it.
So did Jessica, both of them.
They did. And, Sookie actually slapped him a few times.
Mm-hmm.
Would have slapped him more if Eric hadn't stopped her. But, I mean, they can't understand. And I totally get it. They can't understand why. Why would he not do that?
Right.
Of course, explanation came later, but, here's what I felt really bad for Jessica because, just like, first of all, she asks Bill to release her.
Mm-hmm.
She's mad, and she doesn't want to feel that. I'm sure she doesn't want to feel that horrible loss when he's gone.
I think also that she maybe thought that by asking him to do something so drastic, it would maybe change his mind.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, anything.
But that didn't work. Because she forgot that he feels guilty about turning her in the first place. So
right.
Right. That didn't work.
But he did say that he was so proud of her and how far she's come. Mm-hmm. And, I that was sweet and it was precious. Mm-hmm. But I just felt like, oh, man, that is hard and hurtful. And Jessica, and then she's like, well, what does she do now?
Yeah.
She'll have no one. She has Sookie as her friend and, all this stuff and everything, but she's attached to Bill. She is. And now she has nothing. She's kind of drifting. So, I just felt really bad.
Yeah. I liked though that they had Pam reach out to her.
Yes.
Because Pam knows how it feels to have your maker release you. Mm-hmm. And I thought that scene was, that moment was really, really touching, even with the Pam snark about her jacket. Yeah. It was, you could see it when Jessica asked Bill to release her and they gave us a shot of Pam's face. The emotion was there. Mm-hmm. She was remembering.
Oh, yeah.
And Kristen Bauer has talked about that scene several times and how difficult it was for her to film because she felt it for her character so profoundly. Mm-hmm. And that was a nice little visual callback to that. And then to have her comforting Jessica because, she knows what that feels like.
Yeah. Now, what I found interesting during this whole thing, this whole exchange going on, I was watching whenever they showed Eric. Mm-hmm. And I think at first he was stunned and confused. And why would you make that decision, Bill? Why would you do that? It was interesting.
Then could you kind of see it dawning on him?
Yes.
And that's when later on when he went and talked to Bill and said, listen, mm-hmm. this disease attacks your mind as well. It causes suicidal depression, mm-hmm. basically. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But Bill wasn't listening to that.
No.
He wasn't having it.
No. And a couple people have brought up, what if Bill did, what if somebody forced Bill to take, the cure and mm-hmm. he realizes that, all of that was just the disease talking.
I don't think it is, though.
I don't think it is.
He has not really, truly been happy about being a vampire since we've known him. Mm-hmm. He's felt guilty about what he's done. He's longed for the human life, to, be human again, and to, he's remembered back to, his past and when he was human and when he was with Caroline and they were having their children, and not just this season, but in previous seasons, we've had those flashbacks as well. And he's just, that's just Bill. He doesn't want to be a vampire. Right. He never has. This isn't new.
Right.
This isn't new. This isn't some plot device
Mm-hmm.
to wrap up his story in some uncharacteristic way. This is Bill's character. He has never been, since we've known him and since Sookie's known him, he's never been truly happy being who he is.
Mm-hmm. Right.
So,
and he really hasn't been, excuse me, he really hasn't been himself at all, especially after the Bill thing and after that, the vampire camp and all of that happened.
yeah.
And
he had so much to atone for.
the full weight of that, of
Mm-hmm.
what he had done to people that he loves. And, you know, the flashbacks gave us kind of a side-by-side comparison of
Mm-hmm.
Vampire Bill being a monster, and
Mm-hmm.
this gentleman, Southern
Mm-hmm.
gentleman, who didn't want to go to war, didn't want to fight. He loved his family, and he was just that guy. He was that guy. He was very gentle and mild, and happy to be just living his life with his wife and kids.
Mm-hmm.
And it's such a stark contrast. And I don't really know how anybody could really. It would be just too hard to overcome. Some people would not be able to. Obviously, Bill cannot. And I don't think he trusts himself not to ever be a monster again.
That's another part of this is, say he does go on living for another, 900 years and reaches 1,000 years old like Eric.
Mm-hmm.
What will happen? Can he trust himself, and can he trust others to help him not become a monster again? And I don't think he feels like he can.
Right.
He talked about how he thought that loving Sookie would redeem him, basically. And he realized that was a mistake, and she can't. I mean, duh. But, that was part of his motivation. Or maybe not his motivation, but that was one of the reasons he fell for her, is because he saw in her a chance for redemption and atonement.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know, but Liz, it sounds to me like maybe you're going to be okay if they kill him off now.
You know what? Here's the thing. As far as the show goes, I understand how it all makes sense. They've been building up to it, and if that happens, it'll be sweetly done. But there is still a bookish part of me that is like, I can't do that. It's Bill.
Yeah.
Bill didn't die. He never died. And I know this is like totally contrary to a lot of things that I've said over the years, and the book and the show are two separate things, and blah blah blah. But this really bothers me, and I don't even know if I can really. I don't even know how I can really explain it to you why it's bothering me.
It's because he's the lead character, and the lead characters aren't supposed to die.
I guess so. Maybe it's just that simple, and it didn't, and it wasn't supposed to happen.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Yeah, I honestly, and I've said this before, I am pretty neutral on this topic. I'm rather ambivalent, really. At this point, I've been saying since before the season premiered that I thought he was going to die. And now it just seems so obvious that that's where the story is going, that I'm pretty sure it's not going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
So, just to be contrary, I now don't think that Bill's going to die.
Yeah.
But I still don't think he and Sookie end up together. No. I think, he has put forth his own reasons why they should not be together. Mm-hmm. And if he is any resemblance of that honorable man that we saw in the flashbacks, if any of that is still there, I don't see how he could. I mean, there would have to be some major plot twist, some major moment for his character to validate him being with Sookie at this point.
Mm-hmm.
Because he has flat out said, I am not good for her. No, vampires are not good for her. all we can offer her is darkness.
Yeah.
And he's right.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we've been saying that this whole time, but it's nice that Bill finally agrees with us. But he, he's right. And so basically he would have to become human in order for me to accept him being with her when he's flat out told us that he knows that being with her would be a bad thing for Sookie. That him being a part of her life is a bad thing for her. Mm-hmm. And if you love somebody, then you don't do something that you know is going to be bad for him.
Right. Which is basically what he was telling Eric when they had their bro talk, which I loved.
I know. I love the two of them together.
That was my favorite. That and Jason were my two favorites in the entire episode.
Mm-hmm.
Boy,
Jason had some good stuff, didn't he?
He had some wonderful stuff. You talk about character development. Mm-hmm. Look at Jason. Go back to season 1.
Mm-hmm.
and just run through it all, and I mean, side by side. We should probably do that.
We should.
The characters.
Have some project of, here's all the Jason seasons or something like that. Because he's, he still has his moments. Side by side. He still has his doofy moments because it's Jason. But underneath it all is the maturity and as Bridget was telling him, he's a sweet man. Mm-hmm. Women don't fall for him because of the way he looks, she says. Mm-hmm. It's because he's sweet.
Right.
It's because, this is what she says, it's because you're sweet and kind. It has nothing to do with what you look like. And, Jason needs to hear stuff like that.
Right.
Because he's been selling himself short.
Mm-hmm. Well, and especially after Hoyt gave him what for. That really, we saw in the episode how that really stuck with Jason.
Yeah.
I mean,
Hoyt's words really stuck with him.
Yeah.
And they should have. I mean, Hoyt was in the right.
Right.
To be angry about what happened. And given Jason's history, he wasn't wrong in what he said. Mm-hmm. I mean, he could have said it. He said it from a place of anger and hurt himself. So it could have been, he could have said it in a way, the same thing in a less hurtful way. But I think what we found out last night is that what Hoyt said was a turning point for Jason. Mm-hmm. And that's why we've seen so much character growth in the last couple of years.
Yeah.
We've seen him really trying because his best friend told him, you're an ass.
Yeah.
You're
selfish.
Yeah.
And, and that's what Jason was. And I, honestly, I don't even think Jason realized what he was. He was just being Jason. He was just being, in the moment. He lived from moment to moment, Mm-hmm. He didn't really look and see how his actions affected anybody else.
Consequences never entered his mind.
He just never had to deal with it until somebody had to get up in his face and say, look, this is what you are. Mm-hmm. And I'm walking out of here. I'm your best friend, and I don't even want to have anything to do with you because of what you are. Because now you have touched my life with the way you are. I mean, because Hoyt was able to kind of laugh stuff off. Mm-hmm. He even wanted to be like Jason.
Yeah.
He admired Jason.
He did. That's right.
And Jason didn't know that until Hoyt said it to his face. Mm-hmm. You were somebody I looked up to.
And now.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
So that was a big bucket of cold water thrown on Jason, and he started to evolve from that point on. So it was really great to listen to him as he recanted the story of Hoyt and Jessica, which I loved how he put it, the story of
speaking of things that could have been said more tactfully. Dear Hoyt's current girlfriend, you are not destined to be with your boyfriend. Some other girl is Hoyt's fate. It's not you. And he wasn't even like, I'm sorry to tell you this. It was just, let me tell you what's going on.
Yeah. Yeah.
You're not his soulmate.
You never were.
Yeah. You never were.
It's always been Hoyt and Jessica. And
Yeah.
I have said that I would be unhappy if Hoyt got his memories back, and because it was so hurtful and everything. Why would you want to put him in? But he did not get his memories back. What Jessica did was tell him what they were, what he meant to her, and how he fit into her life, and
what she did wrong.
Right.
That ruined the relationship.
Exactly. So what Hoyt knew was what he felt for her, because you can't you can erase a person's memories, but feelings you can't.
Right.
And so there was a pull, there was an attraction there when he first saw her. That was part of all of that. So I'm okay with them being together. It's kind of weird to say that, a human and a vampire. I don't, it's like Arlene and Keith.
We'll see how long that lasts.
Yeah, I just don't know. So it's yeah. But
yeah, I think Jim Perrick's trying to put out there that, maybe they won't have a happy ending after all, or oh, Jim. We know what's going on. We'll talk about it in the spoiler section.
Okay.
You can be all coy, but we're on to you.
So, but getting back to Bill and Eric, okay, so Bill is explaining his side, the story, and he wants, and Eric gets it. He finally gets it, you know.
I think Eric's kind of always known it. He just,
Well, I mean, he and Pam have kind of made fun of it.
Yeah.
At times. But this is what I loved. When Eric was leaving, okay, he understood. He finally agreed to go and talk to Sookie and, that kind of stuff. And he just kind of, I thought, these two are never going to hug because that's not Eric. And it's not what they've ever done. But just Eric walking by Bill and kind of patting him on the shoulder, putting his hand on the shoulder, it was like, I fell in love. I fell in love. And I love these two characters. I totally love them. And maybe that's why I don't want to see Bill die, because it would just be sad. It would just be sad. And I love these two characters. And after that scene, I love them even more. And I think I probably say that after every scene they're in together.
They are good. They're so good together. They play off each other so well. Yeah. And I'm glad that they found a way for them to be in scenes together again this season. They've really done a good job of bringing so many people together again who have spent too much time apart. So yeah, the more Bill Eric stuff we can get, the better, in my opinion. So yeah, I was really pleased with that too.
Yeah.
And also those two characters are honest with each other in a way that they are not honest with other people. They're bros. True. I mean, they're just there's the way that men talk to each other that's captured really well in the way that Skarsgård and Moyer interact with each other as Bill and Eric. It just works. Yeah, it does. So, and I liked that Eric was. He told Sookie, there's very few people that I like, a handful of vampires and you. And I would like to think that he counts Bill in that handful.
Yeah, it certainly seemed like it.
Why else would he be doing this for Bill if he didn't care about him at least a little bit? So even though he was very frustrated about the situation and took it out on poor Ginger, he does care. I think he does care about Bill. Yeah. And I think, Eric's point of view about death is different than a human's point of view. And he kind of addressed that with, when he wasn't angry. Sookie was mad at him because he wasn't so mad. I mean, but, Eric's coming at it from his own point of view of having seen a lot of death in his 1,000 years on Earth. And also he has the unique perspective of having been infected and knowing what it does to a person mentally and physically and emotionally. So, he could have spoken up a little bit on that front, but he finally did and helped Sookie understand a little bit more so that she would talk to Bill. But, you know, I think for Eric, I think he would mostly be sad if Bill dies. I think Eric would be more sad on behalf of Sookie than himself, because she would be losing one more person that she cares about.
Yeah.
And Eric has the tools to handle death much better than Sookie can. So I think his sorrow would be more rooted in how Sookie's sorrow, because he cares about her and she would be sad, and maybe to an extent Jessica, but I don't feel like he and Jessica really have that. They don't have much of a relationship at all.
Yeah.
So
Not really.
Maybe not so much on her behalf, but I definitely on Sookie's behalf, Eric would be sad. So
Yeah. But it was nice. It was sweet that Eric, I mean, here's the thing. I know that a lot of people would like to see Sookie end up with Eric. I mean, and I totally understand that, right? It's Eric. But I felt like when he was talking to her, he was kind of telling her, reminding her, you love Bill, and Bill loves you. Basically, it felt like he was stepping away. He'll be there for Sookie in the same way that maybe Jason will be there for Jessica. And he realizes that. He realizes that he seemed to be okay with it too. That he didn't get the girl.
Yeah, he seemed a little resigned, and I mean, there were a few poignant moments, when he held out his hand to her to fly her home, which I loved. That. I mean, that was a book thing again.
Yeah.
And and she invited him in when they got to her house, and he turned her down, which that seemed to me to call back to the season premiere of episodes, the season 6 premiere, where he says, he basically, I miss the girl in the white dress, and she says, yeah, I do too. And they say their goodbyes. For me, it was another scene like that, where it was kind of what might have been.
Right.
But because of all this other stuff, it isn't. It could have been, but it's not. And that was just a little, I mean, it was bittersweet. It was poignant. It was, I kind of sighed like I did just now.
Yeah.
Just gave a sigh of what could have been.
Right. And he kind of put a period on it when he called her Miss Stackhouse.
Yeah, exactly.
Exactly. It was kind of that, just distancing himself just a little bit from her, a little bit more. And I just thought it was very well done. I thought it was tastefully done. I thought it was done with heart and respectfully. And I really, really loved it. There was a lot of good stuff in last night's episode.
Yeah, there was.
And that was one of them. It was a very sweet moment.
And then he gets back to Fantasia, and he's really irritated that he's been dealing. What did he say to Ginger? I spent the whole day dealing with other people's relationship issues or romantic problems. Does that sound like me? She's given him some lip about not telling her that he was healed, and he's just like, I don't have time for this woman. And so then to make it up to her, he gives her what she's always wanted, which was the shortest sex scene in True Blood history, and I think the funniest.
She couldn't even take it.
She just could not handle it. It was more. There's an interview with Tara Buck on Entertainment Weekly on EW.com talking about that scene, and she floated the idea that maybe Ginger was a virgin, like she'd been waiting. She'd been just waiting for Eric for the last 15 years. And, it finally happened, and she could only last like 3 seconds. And she was very much the dude in that moment, is what she was saying, is like, yeah, it was kind of a joke that Ginger was the dude, that she couldn't last. And then she did that fallback, and she didn't scream. That was a note in the script. Ginger doesn't scream. So she had some fun with that. And then, the falling backwards. And she said her abs got quite a workout because she didn't want to turn it over to the stunt double. I mean, who can blame her? So it's a really good read if you have a chance to go check that out. Tara Buck's postmortem on EW.com. But, there was, after the episode airs, HBO sends out additional photos for the episode that are deemed too spoilery to release in advance. And there were 2 photos in particular that caught my attention, because I was seeing them basically side by side. There was a photo from when Eric holds out his hand for Sookie to take her home, and it's shot from behind Sookie, so you see the back of her head and you see him reaching out his hand. And then there's another photo, another shot, that is Eric holding out his hand to Ginger, and it's shot from behind Ginger, so you have her blonde head with her hair up, and Sookie had her blonde head with her hair up, and Eric's holding out his hand and looking at her in the same way that he was looking at Sookie in that first photo. And it occurred to me, seeing those side by side, it occurred to me that maybe that was a little bit of, obviously it was Ginger's fantasy being played out, but I wonder if there wasn't a little bit of an, Eric fantasy happening there too.
That's good.
I wonder if there wasn't a little bit of, I've been accused of reading too much into things, but I can't help it, because I've been trained to do that for years and years and years. But yeah, I just wonder if there was a little bit of Eric playing out his own fantasy, and then, he got 3 seconds of it and it was done.
Yeah.
So not really a lot of time for him. Then he had to fix his hair and zip up his pants and
it was funny.
Go find Pam, who has been captured by the Yakuza and Mr. Gus.
Yes. Yeah. After her makeover that she did on Sarah, taking her back to blonde. That was an interesting scene of telling Sarah what Pam intended for her. And I got the impression that was Pam and Eric's plan. Like, Mr. Gus hasn't signed off on this. And she was only saying it because she didn't think the Yakuza that were standing guard, she didn't think they would understand. They know the word whorehouse, but... Yeah. She was fun. Oh,
the rest
they
of it,
understand.
Yeah. El Gago, Removo. No. But... apparently they did understand, or Mr. Gus came back early or something and is now very angry and made Eric choose between Pam and Sookie.
Yeah.
And I've seen some anger out there about that, about him having to choose again, and about Pam being restrained, captured again. Now, obviously we didn't see her be captured, but the reason, and so, I don't think she could have fought everybody off on her own if there were 10 ninjas there.
If they grabbed her with silver, of course that weakens her instantly.
Exactly. There was some frustration that Pam keeps being, this season she keeps being captured and used against Eric, and he has to keep saving her, and why is she so helpless? And you know what? The thing is that this Mr. Gus knows that Pam is Eric's weakness. And he's going to exploit that every chance he gets.
Right.
So she's got to be pissed, you guys. This is Pam. She's got to be mad. But she's pretty confident that... I think she was a little bit nervous this time because it was her up against Sookie. Who for Eric to choose between. But, Eric chose her. But there were I've seen some comments and I've had some people talk to me and say, why couldn't he just save Pam, do his super fast vampire thing and take out all of the guards and save Pam. Well, because I don't think he was confident that he could do that before someone could cut all 3 ropes and that pointy thing would hit Pam.
Right.
I mean, we're talking, that would have taken like a second to happen.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think he was confident that he could do it. Mm-hmm. So, plus, yeah.
He wasn't
I
going
just don't think he was confident that he could pull it off, and he wasn't going to risk it.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
He wasn't going to risk Pam's life on a maybe this will work.
Right.
Mr. Gus is smart, as we know, and he knows how to deal. He knows how to set his people in the right places and the right positions to Eric's disadvantage.
Right.
So
better to give up Sookie now and free Pam and figure out how to save Sookie later than risk Pam now when the odds are stacked against you.
Right.
It's a way of thinking that I would expect from Eric as a 1,000-year-old Viking warrior. I would expect him to, the wheels were turning and he was working out all the scenarios and he decided that was his best bet.
Strategy.
Yeah.
He's got to be smart about it, otherwise it all goes to pot. So. And
so now he has to rescue Sookie again.
Well, maybe. I mean, yeah, you're right. But see, Eric also doesn't he know what Sookie can do with her power? So
yeah, but he's going to at least want to warn her.
Yeah, I mean, but I just wonder if
possible, if
there wasn't like a little part of him that was like, Sookie, she's made it this far.
Yeah.
All that she's been through, and she's made it this far, and she survived, and I
think he has some confidence in Sookie's abilities.
Yeah,
yes.
I'm pretty sure that yes, he will definitely go and make sure that she's all right. And
if he can get away from Mr. Gus,
if he can, and we can talk a little bit about that later. But he knew how to have Eric at a disadvantage, and that was the bottom line.
Yep.
He had already had that all set up and everything, which how quickly he set that up. That thing, that pendulum.
Yeah.
I was thinking of the pit and the pendulum. Like, oh my gosh. There's a nightmare. There's a nightmare.
Yeah.
Pam's living the pit and the pendulum. Except it wasn't swinging.
Pam.
I know.
She's going to be so mad.
Oh, she is going to be mad. It's going to be wonderful.
Yeah. It's going to be glorious to behold.
So
we also have, let's see, we had Jessica made her peace with James. She cleared the air with him.
Right.
So that was nice. And so I feel like James and Lafayette are now that's pretty well wrapped up. I don't think there's anything else that they really have to deal with there. Yeah. They're together. Their relationship has been blessed more or less, and they can proceed. And so Lafayette can be happy. So that's good. That's wrapped up.
So he has his
Sam
HEA.
Yes. And Sam's left with Nicole for now. I'm not real happy with how that all went down, but
I was shocked.
I would have preferred for it not to be in flashback form, but I get why they did it that way. Let Sam get out without any complications. He left a note for Sookie and then a note for Andy that wasn't what Sookie expected. That was funny. So he's gone to Chicago with Nicole.
Bad decision, Sam. Chicago, really? I'm from Chicago, so
Liz just got out of there. Yeah.
I'm qualified, so don't give me anything.
I like Chicago, but I've never lived there, so I've only visited.
Nice place to visit. You don't want to live there.
So he's gone for now. And we have Bridget and Jason. Something's percolating there.
Yeah.
I'm all right with how this is working out.
Yeah.
It's kind of a last minute, like he's an owner for 2 days, 3 days at this point, 2 days, I guess. Because this week's episode took place in one night. It started on the same night that last week's episode ended, and we were just getting, well, it wasn't even morning yet because Bill arrived at Sookie's house and it was still dark. So it's just a few hours.
Yeah.
This week's episode just was over. All of that happened over the course of a few hours. So, so Jason and Bridget, something's happening there, and I'm on board with it. I like her, and I like her with him. Better
than Hoyt.
Yeah. Well, and it's very convenient because Hoyt doesn't want children, and Jessica can't have children. Jason does want children, really, really wants children. He told Bridget, and Bridget wants children. So that seems like that'll work out pretty well. That was a little bit of a heavy-handed way to introduce a new character, a new love interest for Jason, but I think it works. I think it'll work. So
yeah, I'm okay with that.
We'll see do you think, I wonder if Jason will end up leaving and going to Anchorage.
Oh.
Southern boy in Alaska?
Yeah, see, but then who's going to be left in Bon Tom? Come on.
I know.
Who's going to be left? I really totally did not see Sam leaving.
I didn't either. I thought he would make a different decision, but on the other hand, I have to give him credit for making that decision, for saying, this is the woman that I love, or I think I love, and this is our baby, and I need to give it a shot.
Yeah, I mean, I get that, the responsibility and everything, of course, that's, why.
And he can always come back.
That's why we love Sam. He can always come back. Just as...
At least he doesn't have to regret not going. So...
But it just came as a shock.
Yeah.
Sam, there's no more Merlots, and then Sam leaves, and it's like this isn't even Bon Tom anymore.
Yeah, I don't like it.
So it just feels odd. It feels too different.
Shall we move into spoilers so we can talk about this a little more freely?
Okay.
All right, you guys, spoiler alert. We're going to be talking about spoilers. So spoilers.
Yeah. Spoilers.
So in the episode description for next week, where is that? I need to scroll down, brother. Next week's finale is titled Thank You. And when I first posted the title, I said that it reminded me of that episode in Buffy the Vampire at the end of season 3, where they're graduating, or they're at prom actually, and they're giving out the most likely to awards, and they give Buffy an umbrella to signify her status as protector, and to acknowledge that they know that she's been protecting them for years from all of the monsters that have been, hiding in the shadows. That they know that she has been their protector. And so I feel like, in this week's episode, we have that really lovely scene where Sookie goes and joins the family dinner with Arlene. And we have that really nice heart-to-heart between Sookie and Arlene. And she finally belongs. She hasn't felt like she belonged because people were afraid of her gift, the fact that she's telepathic. They were afraid of that. They distrusted her. And then the whole thing where, at the beginning of the season, where it kind of all boiled over into some Sookie hate, this is all her fault. And then they realized that no, it's not, actually. This is nothing to do with her. And this is just, I think that her sitting down with everybody and belonging and having this family, not by blood, but this family around her, was a really profound moment for Sookie as a character. And it was really special. And I feel like the title of this last episode, and I suspect part of. I assume we're most likely getting flash forward. Some of those scenes in the preview look like flash forwards to me. I feel like we're going to be getting that a little bit. You know, it's going to be kind of a thank you, Sookie, for everything you've done to protect us. And thank you to other characters as well, perhaps. So the synopsis for this episode, titled Thank You, is Sookie weighs a future with and without Bill. Eric and Pam struggle with their uncomfortable partnership with Mr. Gus. Sam makes a choice while Andy comes upon an unexpected inheritance. And this episode is also written by Brian Buckner, who's the executive producer, and he wrote this week's episode as well. So the final 2 episodes of the series were both written by Bucky, which I think is nice for cohesive storytelling to just wrap everything up, you know, in a consistent manner. But we have that line, Sam makes a choice, which is what his line was in the description for Love Is to Die. It was the same thing. Sam makes a choice. So I think he makes another choice. You know, he makes another decision about whether he can live away from Bontom. Can he stay with Nicole and his daughter? So whether that's in the flash forward or in, you know, real time Bontom, I don't know, but we saw him in the preview. That wasn't the last time this episode was not the last time that we saw Sam, that we'll see Sam. We'll see him again. And it looks like he's returned. Looks like he's back in Bontom. So
Yay.
I'm hopeful. I'm hopeful that Sam will be back.
Yeah.
So Andy comes upon an unexpected inheritance. I think the consensus is pretty clear that is going to be from Bill. Because Andy is
relative.
What's the word? He's a relative. Yeah, he's
Descendant.
a descendant. Yes, he's a descendant of Bill's. So I assume Portia would also be getting something in Adeline. But I think that it sounds like maybe the bulk of Bill's estate goes to Andy, who can then provide for Jessica as well. You know, because we had that whole issue with Bill being undead and lawyers trying to take advantage of that, and the courts trying to take advantage of that. But if they revert back to what would have been Bill's will in 1865 before he was turned, then Andy, being the oldest living descendant, would inherit. So I think that's what that is.
Yeah.
I think everybody's pretty much in agreement on that. Sookie weighs a future with and without Bill, and that's what the bulk of the preview is Sookie dealing with the fact that Bill is going to die, and, you know, their epic love, and I don't know. I'm just ready for that to be over, you guys, to be honest. Either way, it feels like it's really, really been drawn out. So, Eric and Pam struggle with their uncomfortable partnership with Mr. Gus. You know, there's Eric turns to Pam and says, "Let's do this."
Yeah.
And it's obviously after she's been released from the chains. They're wearing the same outfits and they're in the dungeon. So they're making some sort of a plan.
So that'll be interesting to see. Maybe Eric will take over.
I keep wondering if that's what's going to happen. Eric's going to take over the Corp.
Yeah. Whatever that was called.
I was going to say Yamakuzi, but that's not right. That's the Yakuza are the ninjas.
Yeah.
But you know what I mean.
Yeah. Them.
Yeah.
Them.
Them. And it looks like Pam is turning Sarah
Is that
into a vampire?
Really?
Or is she just draining her?
I don't.
Or is she just drinking from the cure so that she can be immune? Oh, that's something we found out this week, you guys.
Oh, yeah.
Eric, you know, because Ginger reminds Eric that she's infected, so they can't have sex, and he says, "No, I'm immune," because he's had the full cure, which apparently means that he cannot be infected again. So I wonder if Pam is drinking from Sarah so that she will be immune, so that she can then go do something where she might get infected.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I don't know. I couldn't guess.
Or what if she's, what if we know that blood properties remain in an individual, like when Bill became Billith, his blood became magical or whatever until he was completely drained. So what if Pam is going to drain Sarah so that then Pam is the cure?
Now that would be interesting.
I wonder if that would work in
Be an interesting twist.
true blood science.
I don't know. Be fun.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, the lives
But-
they give Pam. I just
Oh,
just
my.
can't wait.
She's so much fun. Yeah.
So
What else did we see in the preview?
there was something I was going to say, and
Yeah. What was that?
it's gone.
Oh, I was talking. Earlier we were talking about Hoyt and Jessica and Jim Perrick saying he did an interview with the Hollywood Reporter, saying that he doesn't think that Hoyt and Jessica are meant to be. And here's the thing. I think he's being cagey and saying that he doesn't think that the current incarnations of Hoyt and Jessica are meant to be. I'm pretty sure Hoyt gets turned. Pretty sure he becomes a vampire because neither of them want children. He's dabbled in this before. Remember after he and Jessica broke up, he went all goth. So yeah, we'll see.
Well, I don't know how I feel about that.
Yeah, I think he's just trying to be cagey, and he's not. Yeah.
Yeah, I just don't know. Honestly, I don't know.
But see, at the end, I just pulled that up again. It says at the very end, they say, "In what kind of place will the series leave Hoyt and Jessica's relationship?" And he says, "A hopeful one." So you can't be saying, "I don't think they're meant for each other," and then he says there's no indication that these two are wired to do well for each other. But I think he's talking about at the beginning. So, at the beginning of their relationship. But in the end, I think they're meant for each other. I think they've grown. I think he just wasn't, either he was being cagey or he just wasn't able to articulate it clearly because of spoilers and all of that. So, but the headline for this article, this is why it's kind of making a big deal, is the headline is True Blood's Jim Perrick on Hoyt and Jessica. I don't think they're meant for each other. But then the subhead is the actor tells the Hollywood Reporter his character's relationship will have a hopeful ending. I mean, if that gives you any idea, that there's a little bit of insight into how these actors have to handle these interviews and the questions and why they sometimes seem so contradictory. I think that he wasn't particularly adroit in this interview in saying what he should have said, which is at the beginning of their relationship, they could not succeed in the long term, but now they can. So that's what I think he was trying to say without being able to come right out and say it. Because I think that he gets turned.
Yeah, I just think that would be dumb.
I think the Hoyt that we've seen now, I think he would be just fine with that. And then they'll be Hoyt and Jessica vampire lovers forever. Yeah.
Whatever.
Yeah.
I just think it would be silly. I don't know.
Depends on how they do it,
Yeah,
but
I guess so. I have to wait
Yeah.
and see. I'll reserve my whatever, my judgment. See how it
We'll
plays
see.
out.
Yeah, there's going to be a lot of that, I think. Let's see how it plays out.
Yeah.
'Cause we've got-
something that I wanted to touch on just a little bit, because some people have been saying that these last couple of episodes have been really slow, and some have referred to them as being boring, and things like that. And I get how you guys can see that. But here's the thing. I really feel like if you could look at it this way, these writers are trying to give us as much time with our characters to really just kind of spend time with them without distractions of trying to survive something, or trying to overcome something, or trying to fight against something. I just feel like, it's a gift, really. You want to wind up a series, do it so that the fans can have time, last moments with their favorite characters. And I really feel like that's what they're doing. So they're going to slow it down and give us some background and give us some explanations and answering questions that we've had for 7 years. And just kind of and wrapping up storylines like that, but doing it in a slowed down way. And I'm fine with that. I love it because it's too hard, when you've got Sookie trying to outrun or run for her life or something, she's still doing it,
or the big battles, every other episode there's some big battle
and
where they all have to come together and defeat the bad guys. And let's just take a breather and let's now deal with some actual human emotional character stuff.
Exactly.
And they are giving us a chance to really get to know some of these people. We've got Jason talking about his relationship with Hoyt. We've got Jessica talking to Hoyt about where she was, and what her state of mind when she cheated on him, and even more recently when she didn't want to live. She kind of alluded to that time when she was refusing to eat. And she talked to James and, kind of cleared the air with him and acknowledged that she was being selfish and that she had done things wrong. That was some character growth. Those were some adult decisions that she was making, and apologies that she was giving. She was making amends for some things. And, we got Jason talking with Bridget and revealing some parts of himself. And we got Bill having a real heart-to-heart with Eric about his feelings about Sookie. We got Arlene and Sookie having a heart-to-heart. Yeah. We're getting a lot of this.
Eric and Sookie,
Eric and Sookie had a real heart-to-heart. It's a lot of this character development that we often don't have time for in TV shows, that often we don't get. And in this show, it's been kind of interwoven in between all of this, all these action things, action moments and crises and all. And this time we have a main character who's connected to a whole bunch of people who's dying, and that's causing people to, and a lot of other people have already died. So much loss that's happened. And so these characters are really thinking about their lives and their relationships with each other and the kind of people they want to be, and making some decisions and making some moves, I guess, based on that. And it's important. It's important, you guys. I think when you go back and look and watch the series, if you binge watch the series, you're going to see that this was necessary. That we needed this. The audience needed to take a breather with the characters and kind
of hold on to them for a little bit.
Yeah, and revisit who they are and why they are the way that they are, and what's motivated them. Because sometimes, we haven't had there hasn't been a lot of time to dig deep into these character motivations. And now we're being told flat out, yeah, this is why I behaved this way.
Yeah.
This is what was driving me to do this or that. And it's important. It's important as we're wrapping up the season or the series. It's important for the characters to come back and say, hey, this is who I am now. This is who I am post vampires coming out of the coffin, post all of these things happening. This is who I am, and this is how far I've come, and then we'll flash forward and see where they go after that.
Yeah. And I feel like because they've slowed it down these last couple of episodes, some people are also saying that they don't think that an hour next week is going to be enough time for them to wrap everything up. There really isn't much left to wrap up.
No, it's just Bill.
That's it. And that touches a lot of things, as you just said. His life or death.
And it affects a lot of people, a lot of characters.
Right. So it's all interwoven. And so everything else has been taken care of. We just really have the one thing to take care of. And 60 minutes is going to be plenty of time. They're giving us plenty of time, I feel like. It's going to be okay.
Yeah. I feel like we're going to have that resolved by the midpoint of the episode. And then we'll flash forward and see everybody's lives. I don't know. Maybe we'll go all the way to 2014. I don't think so, though. I think it's probably going to be... I think the final moments of the series will be at Holly and Andy's wedding. So we'll be flash forwarding like 6 months to a year would be my bet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's all good. It can happen. There's still time. They're not going to rush anything.
No. You may not be happy with how some things have been wrapped up, and you may be looking for more, but the reality is that Bill is all we have left.
Yeah.
That's the only outstanding storyline we have left. And again, that affects a whole lot of characters, not the least Sookie. But
right.
That's, I guess we do kind of have the Eric and Pam thing left, I guess, in Sarah Newland. So
yeah, it's still all connected though.
It is.
It's all part of the same story. It's not,
Yeah.
Lafayette and his family and James. That's all done.
Right.
Tara's done. LC
Right.
done. Check. Arlene.
Yeah.
Check.
Jason pretty much done.
Yeah.
Arlene pretty much done. There's going to be little bits for us to look at. Hoyt and Jessica done. There's going to be little pieces to follow. I mean, I don't think that the first 30 minutes of next week's episode are going to be all Bill, but as far as major storylines go, it's Bill's what we have left, and how that impacts everybody. So yeah, but I guess though that Eric and Pam's fate, I think, is more what I'm thinking. Not necessarily. I mean, Sarah Newland's fate, she's pretty much done for, but I do think that we still have Eric to tie up in a way.
Yeah.
I don't feel like we've got resolution on that.
Yeah.
So I get, but it's basically Bill, how that influences everybody else, and then, what Eric and Pam decide to do.
Right.
So
it's not a whole lot. So it's going to be done well, and it's going to be done beautifully. And guys, these people had a ton of time to write all this out, think it all out, plan it all out, and wrap it all up. Are we all going to be happy with the way it ends? No. Even I probably won't be. As I said, I might not be. I might not be happy with everything that was done, or the way they end a whole lot of things. But will I feel satisfied?
I don't expect to be. Yeah.
But at least if I could feel satisfied that they've done justice and they've closed off, they've zipped it up nice and neat, and that's it. I'll be happy. Not with that.
I'm looking more to be satisfied than overjoyed.
Yeah. I mean, for one thing,
Because
nobody's
it's
happy
just
that the
TV.
show is ending anyway. You know,
Yeah.
of course, you know. So, but, you know, calm down, you
Yeah, there's the
guys.
sadness of saying goodbye. So I don't think there will ever be total happiness
No,
about how it ends because it did end,
right.
you know.
So
But,
don't be angry. We will have therapy sessions after
Yeah.
the show.
We'll have the therapy thread up for you. Of course, we'll have the our annual fan survey, and then so you can tell us what you think about the season, and then the show overall. You know, what do you think about the show overall? And then we've got a bunch of different polls planned, fun things planned to talk about the series as a whole, and your favorite moments, and what you now that you know the entire story, what do you think about this and that and the other? So
it'd be fun to be kind of
So
like
look for
in
that.
hindsight, you know.
Yeah.
I see why they did that or
Mhm.
something, you know. So
Yeah.
yeah, we're gonna stick around and, you know, hopefully make it interesting and entertaining for you guys, and
Yeah.
you know, air your griefs.
Yeah.
We'll have that. We'll have
Cry on our little shoulders. Just don't mess up our jackets.
Just don't mess up our jacket. And
You're gonna pay for
you know, let's not be, you know, hateful about it either. There's no need for that.
No.
It's not necessary. I mean, you could say I'm not happy with the way they did this, and that's fine. But to come in and say, "Oh, I hated it," and then leave.
Yeah, it sucks. This all sucks. The writer's just clearly phoning it in. No.
They didn't know what they were doing. They didn't
That
end
will
it right.
get you deleted.
Okay, well, that kind of
You'll be
stuff will be
deleted
deleted because that it doesn't really generate any kind of conversation. It doesn't keep a conversation going. So,
Or at least not a conversation that we care to be privy to.
I mean, we don't want backbiting and, you know, slapping and stuff like this. We just want, oh God, why did they have to do it this way? I wish they would have done it this way. We can take that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. Or, this is the ending I would have preferred, but no bashing, you guys should know by now, for the love. We've been around since before HBO had a site.
Yeah.
Come on. You know how this works.
We want you to be respectful of other people's feelings too. So to come in and say, oh, I hate, that's a pet peeve of mine personally.
Yeah. I know.
So anyway, that's it for this week.
Whew, only one podcast left, Liz.
That's it. I don't know.
Whew.
We're going to see if we could do something fun. I don't know. Do something fun next week, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe we'll go dark or something, at the end of the podcast, and just silence.
A moment of silence.
It's over.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's it for this week. So be sure to bookmark True-Blood.net, the website, and follow us on Facebook and Twitter. Our Twitter handle is @True-Blood.net, all spelled out. We've got links for you on our website front page, so be sure to head on over there and grab those. And have fun with us. We got 1 week left, guys. We got one episode left. Come on in and have some fun. So in the meantime, though, thank you guys for watching and listening.
We also want to thank Minda for editing our podcast. And as always, if you have questions or comments, you can send them to webmaster@true-blood.net. I do want to just mention real quickly, though, I know it kind of sounded like, from what Liz just said, that we've only got 1 week left and then we're out of here. That's not true. The site's not going anywhere.
No.
We'll still be here. And we'll give you some other ideas after the show ends, and we've had a little bit of time to grieve. We'll give you some other places where you can find us and see what we're doing next. And of course on the site we'll be following what everybody else is doing, all the cast members and all of that. So we're not going anywhere. Mm-hmm. All of our content will still be there. So keep coming to see us. Yeah. And until next week, have a good one.
Bye.